See, there's a lot to take in here. There's the coaching, there's the venue, there's the weather, there's the game plans, and then, of course, there's the quarterback. In your opinion, what is the key to this matchup?
To me, there's a number of keys on both sides. I'll start with the Patriots. And for me, last week's game, I think, was a perfect illustration of how the Patriots, when they decide, when we say game plan specific, that means regardless of what they've done throughout the season, they're going about trying to win this game against the L.A. Chargers, how they go about doing that. They were very, very predictable. They got in very, very running formations, and they ran the football. They dared them to be able to stop them. When James White was on the field, they were very, very predictable that they were going to throw the ball to him in some form or fashion. Now the change of pace is you will know immediately if James Devlin, the fullback of New England's on the field, and Sony Michel is in the backfield, and they decide to throw the ball, they are trying to throw you off of all their keys. If James White's in the backfield and they decide to hand him the football, you're going to know that New England is totally off a script. They have self-scouted themselves, and they know that throughout this game, they're going to be totally unpredictable. I believe for Kansas City, it's very important for them to get off to a fast start, not only because it's the AFC Championship game, not only because they're a young team, but that's their style. Can they get their rhythm quick in the game? I wouldn't depend on, like they did in the week number 6 meeting with New England, trying to track New England down. Nick, I think you've pointed out Kansas City, and I don't think this is a negative. They are a front-running team. Yes. They are explosive, high-scoring team. They score more points than other teams do early. Their first 15 plays that Andy Reid has scripted out typically are very, very successful. So New England, I believe they'll be totally unpredictable. So when James Devlin and Sony Michel are on the field, I believe they'll do different things than what they've done throughout the season. During the season, Sony Michel's on the field, they run at 76% of the time. Bob Sutton, the defensive coordinator, he will be keyed into that. So I believe that right there in that Kansas City defense that plays better defense when they're at home, you need to realize that and bake that into the equation when you think who's going to win this game.
So I know people are going to focus on the two offenses, and they should. This is the best offense in football, third best in NFL history in the Chiefs, and the fourth highest scoring offense in football. So to me, the key is which defensive game plan can confuse or get off schedule these prolific offenses. So for the Patriots, it's very simple. Can you confuse Patrick Mahomes? We've been hearing all year long, Mahomes, the more he plays, teams are going to have film on him. They're going to be able to give him coverages he hasn't seen before. No one's yet been able to solve this riddle. But now Belichick has the advantage of getting to face him for a second time. Belichick has more film on Mahomes than anyone who's played against him, because this is obviously the latest in his career it is. And he knows that when they played in Week 6, they actually had success when they were in man-to-man concepts, and he torched them in zone concepts. In this matchup in Week 6, he was 13 of 15 against zone coverage. One of those incompletions was a drop. He had a perfect passer rating, nearly 200 yards passing. The interceptions he threw were in man-to-man, and when they got pressure on him was in man-to-man. On the flip side of that, can the Chiefs cover long enough to let the pass rush get home? I thought there was a very telling moment between Joey Bosa and Tom Brady in the Chargers game. There was a mic'd up moment, and Bosa came to the sideline and just said, man, he gets the ball out so fast. It's remarkable. Bosa was frustrated. Bosa said to Brady about him getting the ball out so fast, and Brady said, I got to. You're coming.
Right.
And so we know the Chiefs lead the NFL in sacks. Tom Brady mentioned that. He's very aware of it. Lead the NFL in strip sacks. We know they have an elite pass rusher on each edge in Houston and Ford, and up the middle in Chris Jones. That doesn't matter if Brady's getting the ball out in less than 2 seconds. So can you cover long enough to let the strength of your defense, its front 4 or front 7, get home? Those, to me, will be the two biggest keys in determining which great offense is able to maintain the season-long greatness it's exhibited.
I want to follow up on something you mentioned earlier on the unpredictability of what Bill Belichick might want to do. Nick earlier said if it was Tyreek Hill and not Kareem Hunt that was out of this Kansas Chiefs Chiefs offense, this would be totally different. It is Tyreek Hill, and you've seen what Patrick Mahomes to Tyreek Hill looks like. How much easier is it for Tom Brady to be unpredictable at the line, knowing how quickly he can read defenses and how well he can quarterback that offense, as opposed to someone like Patrick Mahomes? If they try to do it, you know they're going to Tyreek Hill. You know that that's going to happen more than the run. How much easier for the Patriots to do that than for the Chiefs?
There's one reason why teams struggle on the road. It happens to be the crowd noise. Football is a game of communication. And when you can't communicate, it hinders your ability to play at your maximum. When Tom Brady's at the line, he will not be able to get to the whole playbook. It will be that noisy. He knows that. They have an abbreviated playbook. There's a reason why the greatest franchise that we know, the New England Patriots, why they struggle on the road. And this year's team has struggled more than any of the other championship caliber teams. So to think that that's not going to happen in this game, it is going to happen. And he's not like Patty Mahomes. Patty Mahomes has far more options. His third option in Sammy Watkins is better than any receiver outside that's going to play for New England. So that's the reason why you want home field advantage. That's why the crowd for Kansas City becomes very, very important, because they make you rush. You can't hear. There was a time when I played Little League football, and there was a guy in my neighborhood who grew up in a housing project. His name was Jerome. And Jerome was deaf. Jerome wanted to play football. He was a great athlete. But the reason why he couldn't play football was because he couldn't communicate. So one year we talked the association into allowing him to play, but he could only be drafted on my team. And the reason why he could only be drafted on my team was because I was the only person that could communicate with him. I had about 2 months of training in Boy Scouts, and I had that hood sign language. So Jerome, I just knew how to communicate just being in the neighborhood and everything with him. He played one season with him because I could always communicate. I had to always be on the field with him, and that will affect Tom Brady. That's why you fight for home field advantage. That's why the regular season becomes important, so that you can run your offense like Patty Mahomes is going to be able to do, where there's not going to be a peep compared to what Tom Brady, and it affects your ability to run your whole offense.
And there's two very clear problems, one for each team going into this game. For the Chiefs, the big problem is they have been bad against the run this year, and they have been awful as far as stopping running backs from catching passes out of the backfield. Sony Michel has shown the ability that when he's given the opportunity, he can be a high-level NFL running back. And James White is turning himself into one of the most prolific pass-catching running backs statistically in modern NFL history. The problem for the Patriots is a numbers problem. If you're going to have two on Tyreek Hill at all times, if you're going to have one of your rushers bump Kelsey and you're going to cover Kelsey, if you can't leave Sammy Watkins alone, you're running out of people. Are you going to rush only three and give Pat Mahomes all the time to either roll out in the pocket? We know that they want to get pressure up the middle and set the edge. So there's four guys there, two guys on Tyreek Hill. You only got 5 players left. And that's why the Chiefs having this multitude of weapons is so difficult to contend with. They were the third highest scoring offense in NFL history, despite Sammy Watkins missing half the year. Now they are the healthiest they've been all season long. This presents real issues for anybody. The home field advantage, the ability to communicate everything pre-snap, is obviously the critical piece of this game.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.